The Cultural Council's mission is to nurture, promote, and support a healthy, diverse, and inclusive cultural sector so that the arts and culture are a part of everyday life for everyone. We invite listeners to discover Florida's cultural capital online at palmbeachesculture.com. Welcome to the ArtiGras Podcast, where we deep dive into the thriving arts and culture scene of Palm Beach County. I'm your host, Sarah LaPierre, and I'm here today with a very exciting guest, Tracy Guiteau. She is a painter, multidisciplinary artist, and I think she is just this undeniable, thriving, creative spirit. So I'm really excited to talk to her. Tracy, welcome to the podcast. You're here. Come on. I got you. You're in a safe space. We're here to talk about something that we both really love and adore and couldn't live without, the artwork. And it doesn't have to be just your artwork. We're talking about Palm Beach County artwork. We're talking about things that inspire us, reasons why we like to live here as artists, things that we're excited about and that we see happening and that we want to share and see more of, right? So I think I want to start with a little bit of the background so people can get to know you. So I think you have a background that a lot of artists could relate to. A lot of their experience could be shared with yours, which is that you grew up in New York, traditional Haitian parents. They weren't sure about the direction that you took, right? That you wanted to take as being an artist was maybe not the career that they saw for their daughter. But what was that like when you started to kind of go against that grain, go against maybe the more traditional careers that, people aspired to at the time and lean into your artwork? Where did that start?
Okay, so I went to Bunch Park Elementary. It wasn't a magnet art program. I had a hard time in focusing in any academic class. But I had this one teacher, Miss Russell, that suggested magnet art program. Okay. To my parents then, they were like, oh, anything like art program to them, it was like immediately you have to pay something. Like, I'm not paying.
It's extra.
It's extra. So we're not going to go through that. But then she reinforced that it was like free. So when I got exposed to the art program, that's when I was like, this is what I need this. It wasn't a want. It was like, I need this. I used to have F's and D's in school. Math, folder, drawing. Science, drawing. It didn't matter. English, drawing. But when they said that in order for me to stay in the program, I had to improve my grades, get out of fights. That's when people that knew me then and know me now was like, yo, this is not the same Tracy. This is not the same
Tracy found art.
Yeah, like that was my therapy for real. That was my God for real. And then when I knew it was something more, and I still remember to this day that I started the magnet art program in Rainbow Park Elementary. I was walking, and this is Opalaka. Good. Opalaka back in the day was not good. I have seen like prostitutes being thrown out the cars. I've seen drug dealers. There's like pit bulls. You've seen the pit bulls, you ran, okay? They were not nice. They were, because they were trained differently, But I heard this still voice, like, this is not where you're going to be at, and art was it. Like, back then, you're in elementary school. What can you tell your parents about? Oh, yeah, I heard this still voice that told me. I don't even know if it was a voice. It was like something told me that art was it.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about high school, middle school. It was just like elementary school, and that's it, you know? But it was just like, that was it, art.
Yeah.
You know? So.
But that was the spark.
That was.
Right?
Yeah.
That was that moment of, I feel something differently. I'm engaging differently. It sounds like you found a place where you wanted to be. Are we good? It sounds like you found a place where you wanted to be, and you felt there's something here for me, that other academia is not, it's not working. It's not where I want to focus, spend my time.
Yeah.
But art was. So I think I've heard you talk before about your artwork kind of as a journaling process, and that's how it started.
Well, that's when they exposed us to like sketchbooks. Okay. Then before it was like anything that I found, envelope, a bill paper, I was drawing on it. But then when they exposed us to sketchbooks, my mom would find me 4 a.m, 5 a.m. drawing. She's like, "What are you up to?" You know, back then it was just like all these bad kids, and we were so sheltered. Like I couldn't play with no friends. Like even when it came down to like cousins, like so it was just like me drawing in the middle of the night. Like, you know, kids are supposed to be sleeping then, you know, but I had just a sketchbook full of just stuff. I had a junk drawer full of things that I found on the, like, leaf, rock. If it was a dead butterfly, I don't care. It's in the sketchbook. Yeah. But again, it was therapy for me. That was how I was able to let go. I was the first daughter too. So as far as me talking to anyone, like, you know, about what was going on, they didn't really understand that. So my communication was art. Yeah. Words were not it. My parents were still working on that. Yeah.
Okay, well, first daughter comes with the like burden of responsibility in some cases, right? Where you're looked at as somebody who helps with the rest of the household, who maintains a certain level of like, we got this, things are good. You set an example, you know, if you have younger siblings.
I was taking care of the siblings.
Absolutely,
you know, my mom was a nurse. My dad was like a security officer then. So there was like a big gap of, I had to like grow up quick too. So less was said, but more was said in my sketchbook.
You found a way to express in the art.
In my art, always.
So can I ask then, how does the heritage come through in the art that we see from you today? Haitian heritage, Haitian culture, how does that get expressed through the scenes that we see you create?
I've been exposed to a lot of resiliency in my family. So through my work, not only am I, you know, painting for myself, but I'm also painting for other people too, to let them know that how much power they have. Yeah. How much, I'm sorry.
No. I'm not supposed to get emotional. We can get emotional here. Art is an emotional topic.
Yeah, how much power they have within them. So seeing my mom and my grandma in particular, my connection is more with women and anybody else, but more with women. But it's just like, yo, you just have so much in you. And I want to express that through my art. As far as my Haitian culture, like, they love color. They did not shy away from color. So through my pieces, you'll see a lot of color. I always like that's what I play is compa. Throughout all my pieces, what you see is it's a part of them too. They're not here. But yeah, I still want to share their story, but then also let people know how connected we all are.
Yeah, absolutely. Your grandmother passed.
Yeah, passed from cancer, and then my mom passed from cancer.
but they are still so much a part of the way you create and the messages that you create through your work. Can we talk about the piece that's behind you a little bit?
Yes.
I know you said earlier we were talking about it, and it's maybe still a little bit of a work in progress, but it's beautiful when you walk through the door. You. Oh my God, I'm always so excited to see what you create, truly. And this is a stunning work. Can you tell us a little bit about the story of this piece?
This one, I have throughout all my pieces, I have hidden words throughout them. But this one is, with every piece, I want people to be reminded, to be encouraged too. This is to remind whoever, the viewer, of how far you've come. Be reminded about your story. Because sometimes when you get into that rut, you're so focused on the problem that you don't remember on, there's so much, there's so much accomplished, there's so much good that has happened, and how much peace that brings too. So this is kind of what this piece is about. I hide the words as I go, so sometimes I don't even remember
where they are.
But again, it's for the viewer. So whatever word that pops up is for you. It's for you. So down here it says roots, and this is just a representation of your foundation. And how strong your foundation is, and whatever this foundation is, like it blossoms. Like you are gonna harvest from your journey. So don't ever think like what you've been through is nothing. So that's what this piece is about.
I love it. Yeah, it feels like there's obviously a lot of actual physical time that's gone into this for the creation of it, for you, your process, but it feels like a piece that has a lot of time behind it. Like you can see this growth, this development. This is not something that's like flash in the pan for, that just came up out of nowhere. This is something that's been growing and working for, I don't know, years, centuries, maybe. It has that look to it to me.
And that's like a kind of the theme of what I've been working on too. Is like, I feel like this year is like harvest season for like most people, So.
Can you tell us a little bit about the actual process? Like, I always am curious to know, when other artists work, what your studio is like, or how you like to paint. How do you like to set up the stage for you to create? What does that look like? Like when you're getting into whatever your zone is, what is that like for you?
Well, compa music.
Yeah.
It's always my vibe. Nature. Lately I've been getting more into nature, more outdoorsy. But right now, because of the mosquitoes and this rain in Florida, I set up right next to my window where I can see like my pool. Because I have this bush where this hummingbird comes out of. And that's kind of where the reminder came from. Like, if God can take care of this hummingbird. Because I was like, because my fiance, he's also an artist. And I was like, don't cut the bush, like the hummingbird, like it's so little. Like, because I saw it, I'm like, oh my God, it's so tiny. I didn't realize how tiny they were. And I was like, yo, if God can take care of this little hummingbird, what about, I ain't no different. Like there's no, so that's where this came from.
I love that. Thank you. I love that that's your setup and inspiration currently right now. So let's talk about a little bit artistic journey. Who are some of the like artists, cultural figures, things that you've sort of gotten inspiration from as an artist over the years?
You mean like other artists?
Sure. Other artists, people who have inspired your work, like styles that you gather inspiration from, anything like that.
There's a lot of artists in Palm Beach that do a lot of good work, but I don't really necessarily like pull the drive. You especially, because your professionalism is like on top tier. Okay, you have Anthony Burks, you have Harold, Anthony Hernandez.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of like world class talent that either lives here, comes through here,
right.
but also, I mean, you know, there's things that I see in your work, like there's some pieces that you use with a lot of gold. Sometimes where I'm like, ooh, this reminds me of
the gold. Was more from Gustav.
Okay, yes. Yeah, like references like that.
Gustav Klimt with everything. Like his, there's just like this level of like, I don't know, there's richness to it. Yeah. Even down to like, I saw this documentary on him on these garments that he had on. I was like, ugh. So Gustav is definitely one. And then you have Van Gogh with the...
Okay, a lot of movement.
The movement, yeah.
And that I can see that.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the garments, right? Mm-hmm. With Gustav. I'm seeing embroidery. I don't know if people can see this detail about the painting, but I'm seeing embroidery on the flowers. Yeah. And I know that you're not just a painter, multidisciplinary artist. You have a background in fashion as well as installation artwork. Yeah. Yeah. So is there a reason to your like kind of season as an artist? Are you always flowing through these different mediums? Do you kind of always come back to them? You're in painting and mixed media right now.
It's hard when people are like, so what do you do? I'm like, I'm an artist. Like I'm a truly, truly an artist all around. Like you can give me a rock right now and I will figure it out. Like, and I see like my views on things are like, so I majored in fashion design and I was obsessed about the anatomy. So I wanted to be a medical illustrator. Yeah. Dissecting like the muscles and everything. Right. So I love that part of it. But then putting a fabric over it and then putting a fabric over a woman's body, I'm like, oh my gosh. And then the movement of the fabric too. So it's a lot. Like I want to do everything. Yeah. Okay? So this piece was more of like I went to New Orleans School of the Arts, so we were exposed to mixed media in every aspect. And it was kind of cultish because it was like, if you saw an artwork from a New World student, you went to New World. Okay. Because we all painted big. We all paint, like, it's just like, this is the same artist. Like, I remember we went to, we had a class where our teacher, Jim Hunter, we had to paint white, something white. So everybody was just using the tube of white or like blue for the shadows. And he's like, no. And then we had this, that was another artist I'm highly inspired by, Rainier Gamboa. He's an artist my gosh,
incredible.
Yes, from my high school.
Amazing.
So we saw his work and it was like 50 shades of white. Oh, yeah.
He's a master colorist. I mean, the use of his color palette.
Every time he's like a reminder, like, okay, how many blues? No, that's not enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So, yeah.
The first time I saw his work, I went to school locally, Palm Beach State College, and one of the professors there had pulled a piece of his into the show, and it was just mind blowing.
Every time. And then he has like the photogenic memory too. Like
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he'll look at you and then all of a sudden you're like, how did you have a picture of me somewhere?
Wow.
Yeah. He's crazy. He's like insanely good.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that is crazy. So about more influences, you spent some time at University of Westminster in London. Is that right?
Yeah. That was for fashion.
And how did that kind of influence the way that you worked at the time?
I didn't know. Okay, so when I was in Rhode Island at the time, and I knew about layers because it was cold. I went over there with my Florida gear, my little Puma sneakers, and my toes were curling because I did not know about negative anything.
Oh my gosh, yeah. What is that world? I don't know.
Oh my gosh. So when I went to London, there was a different type of layering when it came to fashion.
Those dinner reservations and tea times will have to wait because there's an art-filled paradise beyond these beaches. A mecca of masterpieces, spectacular sights by day and night. A cultural capital that's calling your name. See so much more than you came for in the Palm Beaches.
so that exposure alone, I was just like, oh my gosh. And even there are some stores over there that was like considered like the Forever 21 here.
Okay. Yeah.
When I went over there, I'm like, oh my God, this is like amazing. They're like, this is like nothing. What are you going crazy for? So yeah, it was, we learned more about like marketing proposals and stuff like that for fashion. But then when it came to like constructing the fabric, like it was like more into suits and how a 16th of an inch like made a big deal in your garment. So yeah, it was a good time there. I didn't want to leave, even though it was like gray the whole entire time. But when I was over there, I was like, oh my God, the air smells so fresh. It was amazing. I liked it. Yeah. Is
there a part of like that fashion background, those components that are active in your work today?
Yeah. So I have this whole thing planned, like with this piece. So each piece will be a garment, because I also feel like the fabric world has failed in Florida. Joann's, oh my God, shoot me. You have Walmart, like they used to have like a nice little fabric selection in Miami, but I don't think it's not as, there was more selections, you know. And then they had one in Clematis, and then they shut down.
That was Mac Fabrics, right?
Yeah. They shut down. So so I'll not selling fabrics, but I'll be making more garments. So what I do, I have my paintings printed on fabric to create a pattern.
Okay.
And then I construct it into something else, which is what you'll see.
So cool.
Next year at the Cultural Council.
Oh, okay. Exciting. I'm going to ask you more about that later, because we got to talk about the fellowship. I want to know how things are going and how that's kind of influencing. Some other things I wanted to ask you. Career highlights. You have been a part of some really cool, high profile projects. Like you have done these amazing collaborations. You did this whole installation piece with the Naomi Osaka team. Yeah. And that was, I mean, I didn't get to see it in person. I've seen videos of that installation. That was huge. What was it like for you to have your artwork showcased on a bigger platform and kind of work with these icons?
Yeah. First of all, it was the story behind that is crazy, because I was on my way to eat some food, some Japanese spot near my house in Green Acres. So I'm in the parking lot. It was like nighttime, and the producer calls and he's like, "Hey, Naomi Osaka wants you to work with her on an art installation." I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "I just wanted to let you know that she knows you by name. Like, we were in a meeting and she said, I want Tracy Guiteau there." I'm like, "She knows who?" And mind you, my mom's been talking about Naomi this whole time. So that's how I knew of her too. Because I'm such a hermit crab. I don't really watch TV. I'm not really into like so much. But when I found that out, and then found out that, then I went through my Instagram. I'm like, wait, what's going on? She was following me. I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to die. This is insane. But I was in such fear because I was pregnant too. I was like, I'm going to fly over there. They're not going to have me do this because I'm pregnant. And I was nauseous. I wanted to throw up everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
So, but yeah, still went through. I told them by the time I got there that I was pregnant. But anyways, it was amazing. It was really amazing. And then to have her help me too. But it meant so much because she was part Haitian. Like, I was just like, oh my gosh, that's all I want to do is like be the best representation for Haiti. Like, you know, I wasn't born there, but my family is from there. And the people, you talk about love, like they will drop whatever, you know, just to help. Like they just, so, just to be a representation for her was like amazing. And then for her to see little me, like, you know, like at her, like it meant a lot. And then LeBron being a part of it too, which was like insane. So I was just
right. Like, so was that part of the same project? Because he has a media company that you also worked on a project with, right?
It was part of the same project.
Okay. Yeah. Amazing.
So it was his group and her. Yeah.
I mean,
And
that's
she had
such a loaded
artist.
collab.
I
That's
know.
so
I was
excited.
just like, what's going on? And that was my first time in California too. So I was just like, California was amazing. The weather was just perfect. Like, but yeah, it was called the Osaka Wave. And then I had all these news articles that I created that was about her from her upbringing from when she was young, with her sister. I included her sister in it. And then I folded them and designed it was like a kimono slash another Haitian attire on the side. But yeah.
And then, I mean, you had all these tennis balls, of course, like
and
flowing out from the garment that are both on the ground, like pooling out and up in the air, hanging. It was like it was a really involved installation.
Yeah. It was my first installation too.
Did that inspire anything else, like that kind of doing that level of work?
To keep going, because you don't know who's watching.
Yeah. You don't know who's got your number, obviously.
Right. You
who's
don't know
going to call you.
Name. I was like, my last name. You know how many times they said my last name? It's Guiteau, guitar. So yeah, for her to know my last name and it meant a lot. It still means a lot. Yeah. I'm really grateful.
No, that's such a cool piece of your story as an artist. And then another one that I wanted to ask about was collab is the right word, or the exhibit that you were a part of. As the exhibit that you were a part of, Disney recognized you and featured your work as a part of the Wakanda Forever film. Yeah. You had a piece of work featured. What was that process like? Like being on that platform and
that was like this is kind of like the first time I'm talking about it. I don't know if I can talk about it. Can I?
Disney?
No.
Mickey?
It has something to do with something else. So when Disney reached out, I was actually working full time with another company. Again, this calling was hitting hard as far as like you talk about burnt out. It was like burnt out for real. And it was to the point where I can't even, it's just like, I tell everybody, I would rather have physical burnout than mental. Yeah. Okay, mental does something to you. But when they reached out was at that point where I was just like, this is not it. So the day that they wanted me to go was when I'm like dedicated to something, I'm super loyal, right? So I was like, I can't let this company down, but my heart is telling me like, yo, Disney, Marvel, iHeart Comic is at your door right now, and they want to fly you over to California for the premiere of Wakanda. What are you doing? Like, what's going on? So I went, designed whatever they wanted for the Wakanda premiere, because I was just going to send it over. But then I was like, the experience to be over there, though, would be amazing, Went ahead and took that and left. It was like a 2-day event. Amazing experience. Like, I've met some people, when you talk about energy, like it really matters on who you're around. Because although I'm loyal to this company, it's just like, it was nothing compared to being around creatives.
Yeah.
Like these were, actors, and like they just, and being around people that are passionate about what they do.
Passionate and active.
Oh
right?
my gosh. Like that gave me such a charge. Like I didn't care. I was like, God got this, God got me, like this is insane. And then the piece was actually donated to the Chadwick Foundation. So that was another layer of it too, because he died from cancer. Right. And then I was just like, my mom, her last thing was like, donate something to the cancer thing, like when she left. So I wanted to dedicate that as like, my mom, not me, but my mom wanted to give this, so, and then the next day I got let go. But then when I got I was like, what if I did not bet on myself? And I just stayed with the company and I dismissed this opportunity with Disney. That would have hurt me more. regret would hurt me more. So
Yeah.
I was proud that I did it. I was glad that I did it because it also lifted up so much weight off of me because I finally did something for me.
Yeah. You're choosing yourself.
Yeah.
And you're choosing what you know in your spirit is like your driving force.
Right.
Yeah, denying that's not easy. I mean, you can do it.
Yeah.
Not forever, I don't think, healthily.
Right.
But
and it's still, I'm still getting out of the burnout phase, but it's been, I feel so much lighter now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I think you and I share this where we have the tendency to be hermit crabs, like you said. And these opportunities come up and obviously there's excitement, there's adrenaline, there's all of these feelings and things. And as a professional artist, you have to push yourself to continue to advance, to continue to grow, not just in your creative talent and ability, but in the way that you market yourself or that, in the exhibits that you're a part of or the areas that you're connecting with, the people you're connecting with, and how that energy, if you keep putting yourself, like you said, around the people that charge you up, energize you, are on your team, are cheerleaders for you, how much of a difference that makes in your spirit, and that flows into your creative process. And it just keeps, it's one of those like rising tides raise all ships sort of feeling where we all win if we keep showing up as the true self and keep every little step, even though, maybe don't feel like flying across the country, or maybe I don't feel like putting myself in this scary new environment among people that I don't know.
And that happened recently.
Is it happening now? No.
No, it happened recently where I had to it related to art, but I had to say no to something big, and I was just like, But it's something in me was like, no, this is not it.
Yeah,
this is not it.
Yeah.
But on the resume, it would look grand for my artwork, But I was just like, this is.
I hear you. There are times when no is an appropriate response too, right? Like, not everything has to be a yes. Yeah. And if it feels like an if or a resounding no, then it's best to just leave it at that. Yeah. The right things come up for you. Right. And if it's meant for you, it'll probably come back around in the same or other ways, right? Like it's going to find its way to you. If something is calling your name, it's going to come back around. I think that.
Because it was like some ambassador in Guatemala, and I'm like, okay.
You're like, find me in a couple years.
Right. I'll be good.
Yeah. I'll be working. I'll be here. Okay. So I wanted to ask, we share a little creative history journey moment in that we have both been participants at the ArtiGras Fine Arts Festival. Right. And we've both been poster artists. Yes. So what was that process like for you when you were, showing your work in this way? It's not the same as a gallery exhibit. It's, you're present, you're creating the work that is the face of that art show for that season. Right. What was that process like for you?
I just felt like at that period, yes, I could have painted, some sun and a boat or something. But it was just so many people I came across, including myself, during COVID. Like, it's so many people, like, that was like a new experience. And I wanted to give out some hope, and give out a reminder, like just to empower people. So I think I had, Seek Love or something hidden in the piece, but the whole piece was about like to watch what you say about yourself, about others, and then you'll see everything else around you go.
Okay, I love that because there was a female figure and she had flowers, right?
Flowers in her eyes.
Yes, in her eyes.
Yeah, flowers in her eyes, and then flowers and like butterflies around her. Yeah, just to watch how you speak to yourself, because it's so much going on. Just to empower whoever, because I was just like, I don't know. Like I wanted something to really speak.
Well, it was beautiful. And it was the first time, I believe, that a Black artist was featured as the poster artist and also featured in the artwork.
Yeah.
So you're expanding this audience into people who want and need to see themselves and should see themselves in the artwork that this show, showcases and elevates.
Yeah.
So I think that was a really exciting moment too about that piece. And then of course it's a full weekend of showing your work. You're there with, I don't know if you go with your family or if you go with, anybody who helps you, or if you're in the booth and you're talking to people about your work all weekend, and it's a lot of like interactions that, you never know who you're meeting or chatting with. It's just
I've met a lot of followers that it was a lot. It was a good experience. Good experience. I sold a lot of pieces too. One I'm still in contact with. She's in New Jersey. But yeah, it was a very good experience. Yeah.
Is there a way as an artist that you prefer to share your work, like art show, gallery, exhibit, online? Is there a version of that you find?
Well, because I'm a hermit, it would be online.
Okay. How did I know that was going to be the answer?
Online, okay. But I'm really trying. That's another version. I'm trying to get out there more because I know this is not really about me. Mm. It's more about, and that's why I'm out here too. Because, not too long ago, I had all my paintings because they were so personal to me. They're diaries, and I felt exposed. I'm like, oh my God, they're about because. I was hiding my diaries in my sketchbook because of my mom. My mom was reading everything, and I was like, "Oh no, you can't read it." It's like so I was hiding them in there. So it just transferred over to the paintings. Okay. So then, when they saw, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you're gonna know everything."
You're like, "This is my soul on a canvas you're looking at."
You're gonna know everything. So but then God told me this is not about me. There's a lot of people that needs it too.
I heard there was a quote that I heard recently from an artist that I just really like. She's a modern artist. Her name's Ashley Longshore. She has a gallery in New York. She's known for being kind of like outlandish in her style and her work and the way she speaks and the way she engages. But she is famously a self-represented artist, right?
Yes.
She has her own gallery. She does her own sales. So she just said something, I think it was an interview, where she's like, she who toots her own horn controls the volume. Mm. And I mean, in this day and age, we have the ability to get our work seen and out there, social media, websites, more accessibility and things like that. So you really can have your hand on the volume knob yourself.
Right. And that's a new phase that I've been. That's a new phase I'm in right now, as far as less exhibitions. Mm. I feel like I need more. I'm more focused on creating.
Okay. Yeah.
It's because I feel like some of these exhibitions have been like distractions. Where it's just like you're forcing let me hurry up and just get a piece in here. And it's just no, I don't want it to be rushed anymore. Like there's more meaning, there's more purpose, there's behind this piece. I just don't want to be in that state anymore. Because again, I'm coming out of burnout. I don't want to be back.
You don't want to go right back into the hustle culture of hurry up and produce. And I mean, social media, let's be real, gives us that sense of constantly, you have to post every day, or you have to stay relevant, or you have to, as an artist, you have to show up in as many exhibits and things as you can, so that you're not forgotten about, which is not the truth.
Right. No.
And I think it's important to do things in a timeline that feel good
and at your own pace.
Yeah.
And I'm not missing out on anything.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not, because it's just again, Naomi Osaka, Disney, the Guatemala person. It's been showing me they see you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These opportunities, they're coming for you.
Yeah.
Sometimes like Ebony. It or not.
I forgot about Ebony.
Oh my God, tell us about that.
Oh my gosh, that was insane because it was so last minute too. That was amazing because I was around other artists that I've seen on, those the social media, like the top, it was like John Moody and pretty artists and I forgot his name. It was like a couple of them. Mm-hmm. I mean, they have like 100,000 people following them. And they're in movies and shows. And the pretty artist, she had her piece, I think Blue Ivy like bidded on one of her piece.
Oh my gosh.
Like that. And Tyler Perry wanted to bid on her piece. And they were fighting over her piece. So anyway, just to be in that same group, I was like, oh my gosh, like, you know, and meeting the director of Ebony and the head CEO, like it was just, that was another moment of where I also didn't feel alone. Because again, my grandma and my mom were my cheerleaders and they're not here anymore. So I just felt like, I'm like, thank you. You know, like that was very emotional because to see, they projected my work on the walls and to see it that big.
Oh, yeah.
And then to see everybody else, like, you know, and then they had like some rapper guy, I don't know his name. Everybody's like, he's famous. I'm like, I don't know who he
You're
is.
like, I'm a hermit.
But yeah, it's just like everybody's just staring at the artwork on the wall. It was amazing. And to see all the old like Ebony magazines with Oprah and it just showed me like, yo, you are heading. And that was the year that I got let go too. So it was just like, yo, you are going in don't worry. Like, you know.
Yeah, I feel like you're getting some really solid signs
that
you are on the good path.
Like worst critic, you hear me? Like worst. Okay, I hear people like, oh my god, yeah. But at the end of the day, it's all this right here. Yeah, I'm too hard on myself.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, so what else I want to get into? Some of the community aspects, right, of this area, Palm Beach County. As an artist living and working in this area, what are some of the ways that you like to stay engaged in the community when you're not in hermit mode?
Engage with the community.
Sure. Like maybe you could tell us about, another question I love to ask is what art, museum, piece, you know, event should people know about if they're in this area, if they're visiting this area? What's something that you've experienced here that you're like, everybody needs to know about this and go see and experience this art form or this artwork?
Okay. I'm all about like supporting local artists, like, you know, because the rich ones won't need it. Okay. So you have this group that's called ATV. Fine art. That's Anthony Burks and Trina. They would have art shows continuously, I think, and then they have like a foundation, No Starving Artists.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody should know about that to support because people don't understand. We don't have blueprints.
Right.
Okay.
There's no specific rule book to follow that leads to success.
Right.
Yeah.
There's nothing, okay? It's all something that we're all following inside. And then now that I have kids, it means even more, okay? And I've been in the corporate world, okay, all for a title. And as I'm getting older and now that I have kids, it don't matter because that mental means a lot more than a title, okay? And I want my kids to be happy and do what they're passionate about. Whatever you're passionate about is where you are going to be taken care of. And that's what God's showing me every single day. So No Starving Artists, ATB Fine Arts, I think I'm saying it right. You also have the Norton Museum. They had a sculpture, a female sculpture artist over there that was from RISD. I went to RISD. I got excited because I was like, oh my God. She was over there. So I was in love. I forgot her name. But seeing that, you know, like people are just doing it out there. You know what I'm saying? And then the peach.
Oh, hey, thank you. We love the Peach Art Collective.
And then the peach, okay? Yeah, so... Oh, wait. I forgot the name. I'm a mom. My brain is like really shot as far as like, remembering names. But yeah, those are the top things I can think of right now.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, the Norton's world-class museum.
Yeah.
There's some amazing exhibitions that come through there,
sculpture.
along with their like permanent collection that they have. If I'm ever in a mode of stuck, if I'm creatively out of juice,
right,
or I just can't, I'm struggling to kind of get the momentum,
right,
I'm gonna take myself a little trip to the Norton,
right,
or to the Norton Sculpture Garden,
right.
or to one of these, places that we have here to just soak up the energy,
right,
the other creative,
right,
forces that are around us,
right,
and get some inspiration back.
Yeah,
the Norton's a great one.
Yeah.
What else? Community wise, we talked about staying, some of the things that you like to experience and what people should see. Let's see. I missed anything on the first page? I think I got to all of that. Okay, good. I'm gonna check and see. Okay. A couple questions left.
Okay.
We almost made it through this. You're doing great. I love it. Okay, so lastly, what I like to do is just kind of see where things are heading in the future for your work. If you have a series that you're working on right now, I know that I wanted to talk to you about the let me look at this and say this right. Artist Innovation Fellowship. Okay. So I wanted to talk to you about your experience so far with the 2024 Artist Innovation Fellowship. And can you tell me what that is?
The Artist Innovation was where they give you funds to do whatever.
Okay. It's a grant program.
It's a grant program to do whatever art-wise that you wanted to do. And it helped a lot. Like I said, I was let go. That was like the bread of most of the bills, but throughout my art like has been covering most, but this was just like a topping. And I even told David, if I didn't even have the grant, I was still done what I wanted to do, because it's just so much passion behind, and that's like the main focus of everything. Like if I'm not passionate, I'm not doing it. So it just gave me that oomph. Yeah. Like to like I'm all in.
Right.
Like, and it's crazy because the piece that they wanted in Guatemala is what I had to cancel for this cultural council show.
Okay. Oh, right. Yeah. So that's what the grant is through. So it's through the cultural council. The fellowship is what I'm talking about.
The fellowship is through cultural council. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I mean, I love this idea that it's a grant, because some of them are very specific,
right,
to what artists have to do, have to complete, have to
write
where they have to
down.
be, whatever. This is a grant that's like, what do you want to do as an artist? We want you to go do that.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's giving you this like great support that says, here's some dollars. We love your vision. Yeah. Show us what you want to do. Yes. That's the ultimate as an artist, right?
I'm excited.
So with that, is there an exhibition at the end? There's
an exhibition in June, June of next year. Yeah.
Nice. So that'll be, and you're one of multiple artists that are,
exhibition.
So it's a group exhibition. The works will be showcased at the Cultural Council building.
Cultural Council,
okay, which that building I love is beautiful. I love the shows that they do. That's really exciting. So this is something that you're working on actively now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And is this piece is a part of that or separate? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to see what's coming out next. I love that. So another thing that I kind of finish this up with is, if you have any advice for other artists, for other people who are kind of, coming up next, who might be listening to this or watching your path, and what you would say to them, or, a takeaway that you might give them.
Dang, I had something in this. What did I have in my head? You know what? What I'm learning, at this stage right now, is to focus on the promises to yourself. Be strict with that, because that's where you have power. Whatever you say that you want to do for you, that's what you do. Don't listen to, what other, listen, everybody's journey is different. There's a reason why whatever is, just follow your passion and focus on the promises that you have for yourself. And then you'll see how, like me, all these doors are opening out of the blue. I was like an influencer. I was like, wait, I'm an influencer? What is going on? Like, I'm not even on this platform like this. Listen, focus on your promises. That's where you have your power.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's powerful. Powerful advice. Thank you. I feel so lucky that you came on this podcast.
Thank you
and
for
that we got
bringing
to talk to you and you got to share your story. And I'm just always excited to be around the, people and the artists that I feel inspired by here in Palm Beach County. Like, just great to have you on. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad you're the host. Cause trust, if you're anybody else, I'm good. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you to Tracy so much for being on this episode. I hope you enjoyed listening to her story and got some inspiration out of it. I always love talking and sharing these stories about the amazing creative energy that we have here in Palm Beach County and Florida. Thank you. Big thank you to the Cultural Council for Palm Beach County for being the sponsor of this ArtiGras podcast. I hope you'll hit follow and subscribe and all the things that you get to stay tuned and see the next episode. I'll see you then.